Cool beans. It looks like we are live. All systems go. I hope that today my microphone volume is a little bit better, slightly better than what I had yesterday. Let me tone down the music, at least in my headphones. I need to find a better way of controlling this. Now, I've been looking at different ways of controlling the stream, and I hope that as time goes on, the more that I do this, we kind of get into a better routine and kind of get the right tools and just tighten the setup a little bit more. So you'll see a lot of frequency, and hopefully within that frequency we'll be able to tweak things together and get the Do Better UX design live streaming or design streaming sessions rather quite tight and up to date, up to speed. So I hope that the audio here is better. Let me just do something else here quickly. I know this is probably gonna be a little bit CPU intensive for my little computer here, but I want to try record this for podcasting purposes as well, because I wasn't planning this, but just before I actually went live, I thought let me record this as this week's podcast, because I think some of the things that I want to talk about today are pretty useful, and I think the podcast gets slightly much better reach than the live stream. So I hope that I can have that stuff there. So let me tone down the system audio a little bit more. Well, I need to tone it down for myself rather. I am monitoring chat and just the health of the stream on the other screen there, so you'll see me moving things around and kind of looking in this direction. But I'm with you. Welcome to this live stream, and I hope that I will be seeing more and more people joining these live streams as we go, it's really going to be a way for us to build the Do Better UX community together, and a place where we can chill, chat, and share ideas around careers and how we can do better UX in essence. So let me get to actually recording this stuff. So let me just create a new project here in GarageBand. I'm not sure what input one is. It looks like it's picking up something. So I am going to kind of hear myself, I think. Is there an echo? Some sort? Hello? 1, 2. Let me switch that off. Monitor feedback. There we go. Looks like that is gone. Let's put the levels a little bit up. I'm gonna turn them slightly down for the stream here, so that I don't blast your eardrums. Cool beans. It looks like we are all set and ready to go. I'm just gonna put this window here. Maybe let me bring the stream back here, and we can use that for recording the podcast, and I hope that we are getting something. I can't see anything there, but yeah, if it doesn't work, I will get the audio live from the streaming stuff. So let me not bother so much with that. It's kind of like setup is running, something is happening. I see, rather um, the audio looks very low, but I hope that, yeah, I'm getting something out of that that's a little bit cleaner than the live stream audio. Cool. So let me get into today's topic. Again, these live streams are really kind of like relax, chill, and talk. For me, it's I'm doing this usually evenings. You can see there with my window, and I'm sure if you've seen any of my other live streams, I kind of do them later at night. Things are a little bit much more calmer for me to be able to do this in between client work and other things. I have experimented doing kind of like work with me sessions, but yeah, they kind of like get in my way, actually doing any work. I do watch work with me sessions that other streamers do, and that's easy to consume while I'm kind of like cracking away with my work. So I hope that this live stream or podcast, whichever way you're consuming this, will be kind of your companion and something that you can come back to every week, every day, every now and again. I'm just gonna keep going with the content and churning out the live streams, and let's see how far that is going to go. Let me just pause a little bit. I'm gonna take off my jacket because I'm starting to feel warm already. All right, cool. So we are back. All right, so I want to talk about a couple of things today. These are things that have been on my mind and will be in our newsletter later on in the week. And the things that I want to talk about are mainly around AI. Now, this has been a theme probably for this month, and you'll probably see a couple of more live streams that I'll be doing in the next couple of weeks still, right? Maybe few weeks rather, that we will still be talking about different aspects of AI. Now, yesterday, if you didn't check out the live stream, I was just having a look around Figma plugins and kind of speaking to the readiness of where we are with AI tools and how they currently work, right? Is it something that you can actually use in the production environment, or is it really the early stages of these tools, and we kind of need to wait and see how it evolves and really becomes scalable and practical for us to apply on an everyday basis. Now I got something in my throat. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get to my drinking here. Now I hope you've got a drink with you when you come for these live streaming sessions. I usually have tea. Yesterday I had coffee and I couldn't sleep, so yeah, I'm drinking water and tea today. Cool. Now, back to the topic. Yeah, you will hear me talking about more of AI stuff, and yeah, if you want to get sort of like a squeezed down version of everything that I kind of like been exploring about this week, check out dobetterux.com, and there you'll find our newsletter entry, put in your email address there, and yeah, we'll promise we won't spam you with anything else, we won't sell your data. We will just be sending you highlights of the week, things that things that I found personally interesting within that week, things that I found to be beneficial to this community, and I kind of like package it up in a bowl for you and email it to you directly into your inbox. So yeah, if you are keen on finding out all the other things, and you can't necessarily join us for these daily live streams, that's okay. Yeah, sign up for the newsletter and you'll be able to get the links and kind of like the highlights of the conversations that came out of that week. But if you want to watch these videos after the live stream, join us on the live stream to ask us some questions. I think that's really the benefit of being on the live stream with me here. You will be able to ask direct questions and I'll be able to kind of respond to that, right? So it is a two-way conversation and not just me kind of like throwing out stuff there into the world, right? But yeah, we will get there with the community. I kind of like reset it and rebooted things a little bit, and now we're kind of rebuilding everything from scratch, and that was with really a purpose of trying to build this community back fresh with a new set of people, a new way of thinking, and people who are really interested in contributing and being part of this community and understanding what it is that the community means and it stands for. Now there's a lot of groups and things like that on LinkedIn, such as our group, but I really want to drive different conversations in that group, and that's why I kind of killed the first one. So this is the Do Better UX Community 2.0. It's a design community, and the point of this group is to really help each other grow our careers and navigate our careers and help other people learn from your mistakes, from the rare things that you might have found along the way, right? And anything else that you might have gained in your journey, in your experience, right? So I would like you to get into that spirit when you join the group, if you join the group, right? So I'm inviting you to check out the links in the description of the stream. You'll be able to see our website for joining our newsletter, listening to the latest podcast. It's kind of like a central hub, right, for everything that we put out there. Now there's nothing that I am selling you here. It's purely it's actually more of an ask, right? I am actually asking you to be part of this community and contribute your experiences and your journey with other people who might be getting into UX design or trying to level up in their UX design career, right? So I keep on saying UX design, but it's kind of vague, right? It's a little bit product design, UX design, whatever you can call it, UX, UI, etc., right? Even project management and all of that stuff, agile, etc. As long as if you're creating digital products in one way or the other, I guess that's what I'm really speaking to, right? So yeah, that's my invite to ask you guys to join me in the Do Better UX community over on LinkedIn, right? Now I will be accepting the people coming into the group in batches. That way I can kind of see if my messaging is getting out there. We currently have about 20 people on the waiting list, and the purpose is not to get to hundreds and thousands and millions of people in this group. I usually find that the bigger the groups, the less valuable things that you find in there. You kind of like start seeing people just selling stuff, being being a marketing group rather than a real knowledge sharing. So I'd like to keep it nice and tight. If we get 100 members, if we get 200 members, even 300, that is a very good group. And the wealth of knowledge that you can get from just 10 people that are actively and willingly and openly sharing the knowledge, right? Because they understand the purpose and the reason why they got into that group. That thing stopped recording for some weird reason. All right, I'm gonna leave that, and I'm just gonna keep on streaming and keep going. Something happened to GarageBand. No, I don't want it to use whatever that is. Anyway, I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm gonna let it go. If it wanna keeps going, I'm gonna let it stop. If it stops, I'll see what we have after the stream. I should have thought about it a little bit early and kind of set it up before I actually started the stream. But let's see what comes out of that. If you want to check out the podcast on whatever streaming platform that you are on, you can look up Not a UX Designer. I want to believe that I have links in the description for the podcast as well. Check that out. It could be a different format that works slightly better for you. And if you're listening to this on the podcasting platform, check out the live stream. We kind of live stream a few days in the week, sometimes 3, sometimes once, sometimes none. I'm kind of still trying to get into some form of a rhythm and get into really the works of building this Do Better UX 2.0 community that I am talking about. Cool. So I still haven't got to the topic that I want to talk about today, the main topic of the day. And if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, is there a main topic, right? Oh, that tea is hot. Okay, yeah, there is a main topic, and what I want to talk about today is, again, you are gonna hear a lot of AI themed stuff, I want to talk about future-proofing your career in this world of rising AI, all these crazy tools that are coming for our jobs, and all of these things that we are worried about, and kind of keep us up at night, right? Whether you're a UX designer, a copywriter. I think copywriters and music producers are actually kind of taking legal action against AI companies and what they can and cannot do, what kind of voice mimications and artists they can use or cannot use, right? And it has really come to a point where a lot of people are asking this question, right? And I thought it was an important question to talk to. So I thought, it'll be great to discuss that on today's podcast. So how do you future-proof yourself, whatever career you are in? Obviously, on this podcast, live stream, Do Better UX, we're talking about design, right? How do you future-proof yourself as a designer in 2023 in the rise of AI, right? There's so many things that you can do. There's so many things that that I think are positive about AI. Now, if you've listened to some of my other content, I believe pretty much that there's so much more to be gained from AI than to be feared, right? And the reason why I say that is that there is just so much more possibility. I'm super excited about AI more than anything else. I'm ecstatic that we have AI and we can, use this new dimension of thinking and creating and optimizing the way that we do things, and producing more work in less amount of time, right? But yeah, I want to get into the bits of how do you future proof your career in the world of AI. Now, again, in Do Better UX fashion, this is not me prescribing things out there. It's an open question. I'd like you to take part wherever you're listening to this, or watching this after the fact. Or join our community on whatever platform, whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn. We do have a Twitter page. We're kind of like getting things going. Our Twitter account was actually locked at some point, just after I created the new one. And I don't know, maybe they were kind of thinking that we're trying to mimic something that was not us. But yeah. I'd like to open this conversation, and let's have the conversation together, right? Because I also don't have the answers. I'm sure a lot of people don't have the answers. I'm sure a lot of people making AI currently don't have the answers, right? And when I say making AI, I mean like training the models, and really creating the core technology of predictiveness and generating the artificial intelligence. So how do you future proof your career in the world of AI, right? Now, most of the things in this podcast will probably, I'm gonna keep on saying podcast, forgive me, I know we're on a live podcast recording stream thing. How do you future proof, right, yourself, your career, maybe even your industry, right, in this world? Because we work on different levels and we've got different interests in the things that we do. Maybe you're fighting for a whole industry and not just yourself. Maybe you're fighting for kind of existence of your business or your company. But either way, it's really future proofing your career in the world of AI. And let's get into some things. I've got 5 type of main things that I'm gonna cover through the conversation as we go through this stream. And the first one that I want to cover is really around staying up to date on AI tools and technologies. Now, this might sound pretty mundane, right? But as AI tools continue to evolve, right, it's super important for especially UX designers to understand how people are using those tools, how are people adapting these tools, because remember, as UX designers, product designers, we are still solving for some person. Most people practice kind of like human centered design, which is something that I'll get into, but it's really about understanding how the technology is evolving, how people are adopting it, and how is it changing behaviors, and how is it that you can solve the new problems that come with using this technology, right? And I think that's really where the gold mine is, in finding new opportunities on what and how to interact with these technologies, right? So as the AI tools evolve, it is super important for you to stay, up to date with what's current and what's the latest things out there. What are people using? Maybe not only to kind of like interact with the world and from an adoption standpoint, but maybe also from what are developers and other people around, your team, and the same people who do the same work as you are using, right? So what are these technologies that are using? So this includes a lot of things. This includes things like learning about how to apply machine learning to building products, how to apply, natural language processing, which is what the main thing that most of these AI chat GPT is based on, is really about, processing natural language. And I think there could be a big trade-off, right? I am a big advocate of voice user interfaces, right? And it's also another technologies that has been in its infancy for quite some time, right? And I think this is something that we can kind of like build along, right? So if you talk about voice, AI, blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, those type of topics, they're very much in their infancy, and these are things that we need to stay on top of and be able to kind of make sure that we as UX designers, or whatever profession that you are in, really, but I think mainly for UX designers and kind of like people within the design space, these are super important things that we kind of need to stay on top of, right? So what are the latest technologies that people are using and adopting to? What are the latest technologies and tools that your colleagues and other people within the field are using, right? And how can you kind of stay on top of that game, and how can you leverage this to give you a little bit more speed? And I always ask this question. I've been asking this question for the past few live streams that I've done, maybe the past 3 or 4, is that what tools are you using as a UX designer, or whatever you do, the people who are watching this or listening to this? Are you using AI in your day-to-day basis to optimize your workflow, to buy yourself more time, essentially? And what tools are you using? I'm super interested to know that in the UX design space, UX UI design space, because I was playing with Figma yesterday, and I kind of felt like things were further away than where I thought they were. So comment wherever you can, join us, follow us, and let's have the conversation. All right, so that's the first point that I want to talk to. And just to take a little bit break there from talking about that, now on our website you can find other content like this, probably a little bit more streamlined than the live stream. I will probably cut off most of this chitty chatter for the real podcast that I will take out there. So maybe if you want to listen to a shortened version of this live stream, check out the podcast link in the description. I just wanted to really invite you to our community and hope that you can genuinely contribute to it, unlike some of the other things that we see out there. And I'm sure that you're kind of tired of that experience, right? You get in a group, there is 230,000 people, right, in this group, and you just don't find the value that you need. And that's what we're trying to do, right, with Do Better UX 2.0, is to try and keep that conversation much tighter, a little bit more intimate, and making sure that we're actually getting real conversation out of it, right? we are planning on doing events, kind of like meetup sessions where we can either have a panel to help us extract some value and give us wisdom on specific topics, probably mainly in the AI space. I think this will be impacting a lot of people, and I think the more knowledge that we share amongst what everyone knows, the better. That way we can start build a better picture of what we all know, and how we can apply AI into this world. And that's helping kind of like future proofing our career in the world of AI. And or we could just do an open conversation, and kind of throw things in the bucket, ideas around what people want to discuss, what people want to talk about, and we can chat about that. So those are the type of things that you can expect from the community, and some of the things that we're planning to do. But in the meantime, you can listen to the podcast, catch me live here on the live stream on a weekly basis at least. I'm planning to be online on a daily basis, at least Monday to Friday, until we kind of get some sort of rhythm and conversations happening. So looking forward to having you joining me in the future. So let's get back to the conversation today, and let's get to the second point, right? So the second point is also one of those things that I always talk about, and I have been speaking about this since we started seeing the early versions of DALL-E. I did a talk at I did a virtual talk. I think it was the time of the pandemic. I did a virtual talk at UX South Africa, which is one of the leading UX conferences here in South Africa, right? And what I was saying there is that we started seeing all of this kind of like early versions of DALL-E, early versions of kind of mock-ups that we kind of didn't really see in the wild, but we saw demos of people, kind of creating this descriptive generative tools, right? And I think one of the most shocking one at that point that I was talking about was a tweet by a specific guy. I forgot what his name is now, and he was basically showing a demo of a Figma input box where you can kind of describe what you want it to design for you, and it kind of just generates the components for you, right? Now fast forwarding to today, at least I haven't seen AI that has been that good, right? That you can just input stuff and it can generate components and a whole layout for you in Figma, for example. Now I've seen great examples in writing HTML and CSS and other types of code that actually makes a lot of dev work easy, and I think it's super cool in that space, especially if you're somebody who's coming from a no code environment, or kind of like a bit of code, but you kind of like you can read code but you don't know how to kind of get your way around formulating, right? So I've seen a lot of scenarios and examples of people converting pseudocode into proper code, etc. But there is always an element and a need for kind of like a focus on human-centered design right now. While AI can help you automate tasks, kind of like generate things for you, generate ideas. And help you improve in your efficiency, right? It's super important for UX designers to keep the focus on human-centered design. And why do I say that? Is that, like I was saying earlier on, everything is about the behavior of how people are going to adopt these tools, how they're going to use them, and what is it that's going to be the pain points within those areas and how to adopt them, right? Like, for example, yesterday when I was doing the Figma exploration of AI tools, I realized that it's still really clunky. Sometimes the system is out, the service is done, and it's not working. When you do a trial, they want you to enter API keys, which could be a little bit technical for people to be able to figure all that stuff out, right? And yeah, it's really all these things put together that kind of will create all these issues, right? So you still need to be able to be focused on human-centered design. Now, this means designing for the user first, as always, right? And that is the most important thing. Now, you can use AI as a tool to enhance the user experience once you figured out what is the problem that you're solving for and how are you going to solve it. Maybe the how are you going to solve it can be assisted by the AI, right? But still, I am a firm believer that design should still be human focused, human centered, whichever word you want to use. But yeah, that's definitely where I think the biggest value as UX designers bring, right, is like we really look at who is the person who's solving for, what situation are they in, and what are the important things that what are the things that are important to them, right? And obviously the next one that I want to talk to is pretty simple and straightforward, and that is developing new skills. Now, as AI continues to evolve, and obviously you are going to have to develop new skills. There'll be new tools that are going to come out there that will help us optimize the way that we work, whether in speed or just efficiency in the amount of knowledge that we can get, right? I guess everything really comes to speed, right, if we're talking about efficiency. And you are going to have to develop new skills, right? It's not just understanding a new set of doing things, but it will consider new skills. Now, there's this new word, and I've seen people call themselves prompt technicians, right? With the rise of AI, there is a need to prompt it and understand and help it understand what it is that you want it to generate, right? And what this means is that there are people out there who are just sitting down, really understanding what AI is and creating new work, right? Now, there is kind of like white collar jobs, and I learned a new term yesterday, which is new collar jobs. And new collar jobs are those jobs that kind of rise at the rise of technologies like YouTube. I mean, 20 years ago there was nothing like a YouTuber. Today there's some of the wealthiest people that are out there in the world. Mr. Beast, I'm looking at you. it's super important for us to understand that, with the rise of new technologies like this, there's new skills, whole new avenues, whole new ways of doing things, and it's not limited to only the principles and ways of working that you used to know. You have the ability to create your own methods, document them, publish them so that other people can use them, right? And that is how these user-centered ways of thinking and doing things were established to get to where they are today, right? So you are going to have to develop new skills to stay up to date and competitive, not just know about the technology and stuff. It's not enough, right? You're going to have to start doing things differently, etc., etc. Now, this could include even learning how programming languages work, right? Or developing an understanding in like data analysis and visualization, right? Because we're living in a world that is ruled and governed by data now, and we need to be able to look into the data and really understand what that means and what that looks like. My light in the background is going crazy, but we're not gonna bother with it. We're gonna have a disco stream today, and we'll see how that goes. I'm just gonna keep on going, right? I'm gonna cover the next topics and things that I have pretty swiftly, but yeah, it's super important that we cannot stay in the comfort zone that we are in. And I think that's one other big thing that I want to drive in the community is that people live in this comfort zone that is out there of what a UX designer is. They've defined it in their heads, and the world just moves on, right? And leaves them behind. So stay up to date with on what tools people are using out there, how people make this, what's relevant to your work, and develop those new skills that you need to stay competitive, right? To stay on top of your game on whether it is new skills that UX designers will be using or UI designers or UX writing. I think right now a lot of people have got the opportunity to add more value. If you are in the UX space and you always needed a UX writer on your team, I think there is a lot of these AI generative tools that can help you at least get probably about 80% there, right? And yeah, even if you're not a great UX writer, now you have a great companion that can actually help you to drive that value up, right? So super excited to see how people will be using these tools. Super excited to know how you are using these tools. Let me know in the description, well, in the comment section, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. If there isn't a text box that you can interact with there, check out our group on LinkedIn. Let's have the conversation there, or follow us on Twitter, or join our newsletter, and yeah, we will keep you posted and updated, right? There are a lot of things that you can do to develop new skills and understand more within this UX space. There's plenty of groups, right, that are out there, and communities like ours that you can join to really have discussions and share the knowledge with people who know something about this, right? So yeah, again, this is I think this applies across other careers too, in markets, and not necessarily just for UX designers, right? Cause yeah, there's a lot of things that you can apply here despite your background, and in what you do in your career. Right, cool. So the next point is one thing that I actually want to drive right within this community, which is a collaboration with AI experts. Now, there aren't a lot. If you look out there, you will think that there are many of them, right? But there aren't a lot, to be honest. And the real AI experts are probably busy they're building the AI and trying to figure out how it doesn't take over the world, right? Like a virus left out of the lab, right? So it's kind of hard to get real AI experts, and my goal is that we can have a panel on the Do Better UX community and have a deeper understanding of the AI technology, right? And what this will help you with, even if you don't do it, kind of like within our community, is stay ahead of the curve, right? Collaborating with UI experts and data scientists now more than ever has been the most important thing, I think, because by working together, designers can really have this deeper understanding of how this technology works, how it can be applied to whether understanding data, whether gathering the data or other forms of finding problems and solving for those problems, right? So super important to collaborate with AI experts and be mindful that not all of the people that say they are AI experts out there are AI experts. The other day I was joking on LinkedIn with an ex-colleague of mine, and he kind of like posted this on a totally different platform, right? And my post was, everyone these days is an expert on AI because just like we saw in the days of blockchain, everyone was kind of like a blockchain expert, right? And kind of like we'll see this false thought leaders and knowledgeable people, and we kind of see it a lot in the UX design space, actually. We see a lot of watering down of the value that UX designers, product designers, and people who work in this space get because of people who kind of like water down the meaning and the practices that we actually do to bring the real value of the work that we do, right? And you kind of see that in every market. There are people who are looking to kind of feed on the low-hanging fruit, where they will grab onto topics that are new, just to establish a voice, not necessarily because they know what they're talking about, but just because the internet allows them to. So be careful of AI experts out there, but try collaborate with them if you can, get people within your area to work with. If you can, do proper research on people that you can find out there. Try to join conferences. There's a lot of virtual talks that are happening now. And hopefully we can have some of those conversations right here on the Do Better UX stream or podcast, or just as exclusive events in the Do Better UX community. So looking forward to actually being able to do that, right? The last thing that I want to talk about, and this is one thing that I kind of have been picking over the past um, few months with the conversations that I've been having with people. Again, a lot of people have defined what a UX designer is, what kind of principles and practices that they use, and I feel like there's a big I don't want to say neglect, but rather kind of like pushback when it comes to embracing change, right? And the way that things work, right? Now, as with any industry, you know, the world of UX design is constantly evolving, right? And if you kind of stick to the definition of what a UX designer is today and like, okay, this is what defines your job definition, the role, what you do, then you are going to get left behind, and you will find yourself being replaced by maybe some of the tools that are coming out, right? Because you won't be able to use them. That means, you know, the tool will replace you, and the person that uses them will be a whole different role and a job and a skill set, right? Going back to my first topic and my third topic, staying up to date with the technologies that are being used out there to develop stuff, optimize workflows, and what people in the real world are actually using, right? And developing the skills needed to be able to use those tools, right? So yeah, embrace the change. The world will always evolve, it will always change. Fortunately, we are in the very beginnings of this AI thing. We are fortunate enough to be part of a crazy part of history, and I'm just excited. I'm super excited about the possibilities of new roles and ways of working and things and products and possibilities of what can be done with artificial intelligence, right? Now, to future-proof your career in this world, it is super important to embrace, you know, this change. Be open to new ideas, be open to new technologies, right? And these are my tips for how you can future-proof your career, your job, yourself, in the world of AI, right? Now, to close off, I'm just gonna go round off this quickly. Number one, stay up to date with, you know, AI tools and technologies. Make sure that you kind of like know what people are using out there, what are the problems that are rising with the adoption of AI, and, you know, go in those spaces to solve those things. Number two is focusing on human-centered design. Stay true to the principle of human-centered design. At least I think that's one constant thing, one thing that will always be constant, and the biggest value that comes out of, you know, kind of the UX design space. And this will really help us still find out what are people doing when they adopt these tools, and what are those problems that they're having, and how can we solve for them, right? And then number three, develop the skills that are needed to be able to live in this world, be able to create, be able to, you know, collaborate, etc., so that you don't get left behind. And that is super important, right? Number four is collaborate with AI experts, and this way, if you remember, with real AI experts, right? And this way you will be able to kind of like stay on top of the game, maybe even be part of developing and designing new ways of you know, industries and markets that use AI, right? Because this will help you formulate new products, new solutions, and, you know, just new ways of interacting with the world, right? And the fifth one, and I think is the most important one here, is to embrace change. Now, the world will always evolve, the world will always change. The UX world in itself evolves very fast, right? And in a constantly evolving world, the biggest thing that you can do is embrace the change, stay on top of the game, and that way you'll stay on top of your game, right? So those are my 5 tips and the things that I wanted to talk about today. Super excited to kind of wrap this all up towards the end of the week, well, rather at the end of the week, and give you highlights on some of the knowledge and things that I would have rounded up this week in the AI and design space. So yeah, stay tuned. Check out our website to sign up for the newsletter. If you want to listen to this, the podcast version, shorter version probably will come out of that. Check it out on Not a UX Designer on whatever platform that you listen to this on. And yeah, looking forward to having you in the UX design group. And yeah, catch you in the next one. I'm out.